Hi, I'm your host, Amory Walts, and today's podcast show is going to be about YouTube. So, if you have not started your YouTube channel yet, or maybe you know that you should, but hey, maybe like 5 years has gone by and it's time to dust it off, well, I'm going to give you 26 tips that can help either get you started or put you on the right track. So, first off, let me say thank you for listening. If you're brand new to my show, well, welcome. Stay, come back often, and feel free to reach out to me through my social media. If you're an existing listener, well, welcome back again. All right, so let's get right into this. So, tip number one, you'll want to start with a clear plan for your video. So decide on a topic, a purpose, and give some thought about who your target audience will be before you start filming. So then, next, tip number two, keep it short, keep it sweet. Aim for videos that are under 5 minutes long. Because let's face it, today, people's attention spans are limited, and you want to keep them engaged throughout the entire video. And that also goes for a podcast show. So feel free if you have a podcast to add a little bit of humor. Tip number three, it's always a good idea to invest in some good equipment. Use a high quality camera and microphone to ensure that your video looks and sounds professional. And some of the simplest tips that I can give you would be, okay, maybe you don't have quite a background quite yet and you're just getting started. Well, if you have a plain, simple colored wall at home, that's a good, inexpensive option because it's already there. Tip number four, it's a good idea to use a tripod because a tripod will help keep your camera steady and then, of course, help prevent any kind of shaky footage. Tip number five, use good lighting. Proper lighting is essential for creating a high quality video. Make sure to film your project in a well lit area, or if you can, use additional lighting sources as needed. Tip number six, now it's time to edit your video. Use edit video software to cut out the unnecessary footage, add distractions, and enhance your overall look and feel of your video. Tip number seven, use engaging visuals, include graphics, images, and other elements to help illustrate your points and keep your viewers interested. And on that tip, there are so many little programs now that really make it much easier to be able to edit your videos compared to when let me tell you, I had my own business. I've had my own business since 1999, so things were different back then. Okay, tip number eight. It's important to use captions. Adding captions to your videos makes them more accessible to a wider audience and can help improve the overall viewing experience. Tip number nine, it's important to add a call to action. Now, if you're wondering what a call to action is, well, it could be telling your subscriber to subscribe to your channel. And if you have a podcast, be sure you come back and listen to another episode. Something like that. Okay, tip number 10, optimize your titles and your tags. Use descriptive, key rich titles and tags to help your videos rank higher in search results. Okay, I'm going to translate that for you, right? What it means is that if you have an episode, give it a good, catchy title that has the main topic in the title. So, for example, if you're going to be doing a video about dog walking, and I use that as an exercise, then an example, I should say, well, then you put dog walking in the title. Because why? Because people that are going to want to learn about dog walking are probably going to search dog walking. Tip number 11. Now it's time to promote your videos. So, where are you going to do that? You can share your videos on social media and other platforms, and that will definitely help to increase your visibility and your reach. Number 12, try collaborating with other creators, because it's a really good thing to partner with other creators because they can help expose your channel to a new audience, and it can be fun and rewarding experience to work with someone else that's creative. 13 is the 13th tip. Use annotations. Annotations are pop-up boxes that you can use to add information and more calls to action. So if you're kind of getting the idea about creating videos, they aren't just so that you're just going ba 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 like Charlie Brown. You're trying to educate your client, entertain your client or your audience, and have them want to come back for more. Okay, tip number 14, use a playlist. It's really good to help keep your stuff organized for your visitors. Tip number 15, well, you'll want to engage with your viewers or your listeners by responding to their comments and also interacting with them while, if you are going live, if you're able to multitask, it's a really cool experience to be able to really truly I was going to say entertain, but yeah, entertain and engage with who's taking the time to watch or listen to your video. 16, it's important to use consistent branding style. And so what does that mean? It means that you should use the same font, the colors, and find your own overall aesthetic in your videos so that way you can create a cohesive brand. Tip number 17. This is what I get so excited about, which is optimizing your thumbnail. And what's a thumbnail, you might say? It's the graphic picture that grabs everybody's attention for us. It's very much like a book cover, but it's the main photo and graphic for your video. 18. Tip 18. Use a consistent schedule. You're going to want to post new videos on a regular schedule to keep your viewers coming back for more. So imagine if there was a show on Netflix that you really loved and you watched 3 episodes in a row over a course of whether it be a day or 3 weeks, and you were so pumped up and it was so awesome. And you wanted to come back for more, but then there was no more content. And you kept coming back and you're like, where'd they go? Tip number 19, experiment with different formats. So try out different video formats such as vlogs, tutorials, live streams, and see what works best for you and your audience. Tip number 20, use high quality music. Adding music to your videos can enhance the overall viewing experience, making sure to use royalty free or licensed music to avoid copyright issues, because you don't want to get in trouble if you use somebody else's music. Now, here's a hot tip for you. If you're going to use YouTube videos and you didn't know this, well, you do now. YouTube actually has a music library where you're allowed to use the music because they want you to create videos and stay on their social media platform. So be sure to check that out. Tip number 21. Use end screens. What are end screens? Well, end screens are the graphics that appear at the end of the video, and they can also be used to promote other videos or other channels. And isn't that cool? Tip number 22, experiment with different lengths. Try out different video lengths to see what works best for your audience and what type of content you're creating. You'll know quickly whether people are dropping off and they lose interest, or if they leave comments and they're like, wow, that was awesome. And again, if you're crystal clear and letting people know at the very beginning of the video or the podcast what the topic's about, and also include like why they should listen, why they should watch, you'll have a better retention rate. Tip number 23, use transitions in your videos. Transitions are great because they can help smoothly connect different segments of your video and keep the flow very consistent. And also, there's some traditions that will give an added texture to your video where it might like fade in really fast. Maybe it'll ripple. Maybe it'll even bounce. You'll find what your aesthetic is as you start creating more videos. Tip number 24, use different camera angles. You don't want to just sit there in the same spot and not move because you're going to come across looking like a talking head. All right. So mix up the camera angles to help keep your videos visually interesting and, of course, engaging. Tip number 25, you're going to want to use graphics and animation. And what's nice about mixing it up by adding graphics and animation is that it can help bring your content to life and make it more interesting for your viewers. Now, that's one thing that really, well, I was going to say that can't be done with a podcast, but I'll take that back because there's actually software that can transcribe an audio podcast, and then you can also add pictures into the script, but that's a whole other podcast episode about what that software is. And before we even finish, if you want to know what it is, just simply message me. I'll be happy to let you know. And then finally, tip number 26, and I'm going to give you a bonus. Tip number 26 would be to use a green screen. So, what's so great about using a green screen is that you'll be able to superimpose yourself on a different background and you'll be able to create some pretty cool effects. And then my favorite bonus tip is this, and it wasn't on the list, but I'll call it tip number 27. Have fun. And I'll throw in another bonus. Wait, there's more. And the last and final tip, which actually, in my professional opinion, should be tip number 1. You don't have to be perfect. Your video does not have to be perfect. You have to celebrate having done it, and you have to implement and celebrate your progress. So you may have heard, maybe before me, that, or maybe I even said it, I don't know, but I know I learned from plenty of other people in my life, coaches, mentors, what have you, that it's progress first, not perfection first. If you get all hung up in all the little minutia when it comes to putting together YouTube videos, and you won't get it done. If you are like, oh my God, I have to do it this way, I have to do it that way. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Just, you know what? Get a tripod, get a camera, get a green screen, get a topic, have some fun, have some humor, know your content, and then just click the shutter or release with a my tripod actually has a little remote fob. It looks like a car starter, where I can, if I'm working by myself, I can start my camera remotely and just hit go. All right. So that's it for today. So thank you again for listening and come back often. And so before I take off, I want to also, I'm going to give you a little selfless plug. It is my show after all. I have launched my digital internet marketing slash consulting slash coaching agency, and my URL is Anne-Marie Waltz Marketing Agency.com. So if I can be of service to you and help coach you on your YouTube videos, or if you need to hire my agency to do the videos for you, I certainly can do that as well. So, as I sign off with every show, be happy, stay healthy, and come back again. And I wish you much success.